Hello Mouses! Today people might want to turn off if they're triggered by ideas of rape and sexual assault, because that's what we're going to be discussing. We've had a few questions based on the Julian Assange videos that I did, where people want to know a little bit more about clarifications on some ideas that I raised. So we're going to discuss those today because it's the Wheel of Thursday and it's come round to answer a question from a viewer. Okay, first up, viewer Marios has asked, could you clarify, does it count as rape under UK law if you have sex with someone who consented to sex with a condom, but you don't put one on? What other constraints can you put on consent? Could you consent to sex on the understanding that they pull out before ejaculation, and take someone to court if you thought you could make a case that they'd deliberately chosen not to? Now, this all comes from the discussion we had about Assange apparently having had consent to have sex with someone while he was wearing a condom, but he didn't put a condom on. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what the assertion was. Which also brought up our next comment. Viewer Jodie Curtis said, I also think sex without a condom does not qualify as rape, and if the UK treats this as rape, I am disappointed. I understand you can't have different classes of rape, but to class this as rape leaves half the population probably open to rape charges. Now, again, I think what's actually happened here is the point that I was trying to put across has been missed. We weren't talking about sex without a condom being rape. What we're saying is the woman consented to sex with a condom and a condom wasn't used. Now, before the 2003 legislation came in, this may not actually have been rape. It may have been, it may not have been. It all comes down to which judge you got and whether they were adhering to the equality of rape assertion. And I don't mean quality as in that was good rape or anything like that. But there was a quality assertion within rape legislation due to case law and probably a difference of word use between the judge and common people of the late 20th century, because this was a very early case. So, what does the 2003 legislation state? Well, Section 76(2) of the Sexual Offences Act 2003 clearly states that a person cannot give consent to sexual intercourse or any other kind of sexual offence where they have been deceived as to the nature and purpose of the act. The act here being, of course, sexual intercourse. So what does nature and purpose mean? Well, the purpose requirement is basic. We're having sex because we want to have sex. If you're being deceived on that purpose and you're still having sex because the other person wanted sex, then you've got a case against rape. You might be laughing at that, but it has actually happened. In the case of Crown against Williams in 1923, the defendant got the accused to have sex with them because he told her that it would improve her breathing and therefore her singing voice. She was a bit naive, and he had sex with her because he took advantage of that naivety. And of course, he's deceiving her as to the purpose of the act. He says that he's having sex with her in order to improve her breathing. What he's actually doing is having sex with her because he wants to have sex with her. That is the purpose of the act, part of the consent requirement. Now, as to the nature of the event, well, let's use the Assange assertion that we've already got from the previous example. I'm not saying this is true, I'm not saying it's not true. We don't know. The case has to go forward before we'll even have a chance of knowing the facts. But, as it's put forward, this woman consents to sex with a condom on. So, the nature of the act is sexual intercourse while the male of the party is wearing a condom. That's the nature of the act. That's what's being consented to. What actually happens? Sexual intercourse when the male of the party is not wearing a condom. Well, that's different. That's a different act. There has to be consent for the act as it actually happened. And there wasn't. Therefore, deception can occur over the nature of the act. Because sex, yeah, but not sex without a condom. So yes, to answer Maris's question, deception can come on many levels, and so can consent. You can put all kinds of stipulations on consent. For example, I will only have sex with you when you're wearing this hat. Or, I will only have sex with you when you wear this kind of costume. Because that's the type of costume that turns me on, and I'm not really interested unless people are wearing that costume. Yes, you can consent to all kinds of things like that, and the person must adhere if they want to have sex with you, because that's how this works. So, I hope that's clarified the idea. But, what is rape as it stands in the UK? Let's put that in as well, just so we cover all bases. Rape is defined rather widely these days after the Sexual Offences Act 2003 came in, because it also includes male rape. So, let's see the definition. Section 1 of the Sexual Offences Act 2003 defines rape as penile penetration by a person of the vagina, anus or mouth of another person while the other person is not consenting to the penetration, and while you are intentionally penetrating with no reasonable belief in the consent to penetration from the victim. So basically, you're using your penis to penetrate this person, you don't have a reason to believe they have consented, and you are penetrating them on purpose. I'm not sure how accidental penetration can happen, so and to be honest with you, I've never seen that come up as a defence. It probably has, but it doesn't come along to the law reports that I'm reading. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, I can't say. But there's got to be intent, and there's got to be a lack of reasonable belief in consent, which is where those two parts on nature and purpose have come in. If the victim is deceived in any way of the nature and purpose of the act, then consent can never have been given. That is actually put down in law. You can't refute that with evidence. Okay, I hope that's cleared everything up for everyone. If it hasn't, then please do leave a comment and I'll try and clarify further. But that's all we've got time for today. So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please click on the like button, share it with your friends so that they know what the legislation is, and keep subscribed for future videos. Until next time, I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching a video, and I'll see you tomorrow.